G'day ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Bitcoin update. Today I'm giving you a quite bad news, guys, just a negative update here. We've seen something pretty bad happen on the monthly chart. We've been discussing it over the last few days and it's finally occurred. We have seen a bearish monthly candle close. Now we see bearish monthly candle closes occasionally, but not ones like this. This is pretty bad, this one. This is a pretty major one, but I'm not, desperately concerned. But it's certainly not good, okay? And there's many, it's a multi-leveled kind of thing to understand because it's not as simple as, oh, Bitcoin's bearish now. That's not really how it works. Time frame charts, they have different meanings, they have different structures, they have different biases. You can be bullish on the daily chart, you can be bearish on the monthly chart, you can be bullish on the weekly chart, you can be bearish on both the daily and the monthly chart. But I can tell you right now, the monthly chart doesn't look very good. And the monthly chart is a very major chart. And you generally want to be seeing the monthly chart look good because it's the macro, right? That's the macro structure. That's how the macro is sustained. Now, we have underlying structures for long-term on Bitcoin, such as the 4-year cycle theory, which dictate that Bitcoin should be going to a new all-time high and reaching that top in late 2025. But it's a long time between now and 2025, guys. There's a lot that can happen in between here and late 2025. We can certainly do things that people wouldn't necessarily expect. We can go down, we can go up, we can go sideways. There's a long period of time here. And during this period of time in the cyclical theory, in the cycle, in the 4-year cycle, we're kind of in no man's land, right? We have the clear bull markets, okay? And we have the clear bear markets where we go down. But that period in between the bull markets and the bear markets, it's kind of like the accumulation zone, which I'm kind of circling now. We see a long-term sideways price action lasting, almost 2 years, and that's where we've just entered. We've only seen the first 6 months or so of that. We've still got another year to go until the halving, and we've still got another basically year and a quarter until the market should actually start moving upwards as confirmed by the macro data. So we really are in this period of time on Bitcoin where we could basically do whatever we want, whatever Bitcoin wants, until that pink dotted line, other than go to a new low at 15K. So, it's not really certain at all. I think people will get into the mindset that, oh yeah, the bottom's in now, so we can go up now. It's like, well, we don't have to go up, actually. We can go sideways, we can go downwards, probably not to new lows as per the data, as per the 4-year cycle theory, but we can certainly go downwards more and retest lower levels, or we can just go upwards. The point is there's no cyclical guideline. We've only seen this two separate times, and 2 separate times is not enough to make data. So this monthly candle close that we've seen, for that reason, is negative, and it's quite worrying for what the rest of 2023 might have in store. What have we seen, first of all? We'll explain what we've actually seen and why it's important. Well, you can see on this chart that I've got 3 distinctive similar structures here, and we've got the 21 EMA. I've discussed the chart a lot. You've probably seen it if you've watched the channel for any period of time now. We have a red line in the middle of each bull market, which is a support line, and then we have a yellow support line in the end of each bear market, which is the bottom line. That's where we bottom out, and we don't really go below that line. And generally speaking, once we get back above the red line after testing the yellow line, right, we enter a bull market again. Okay, as you can see, Bitcoin has very recently come up to its red line, okay, come back up to it. It's tested it, and it's actually rejected from it quite badly. It saw a doji candle there. We broke back above the 21 EMA, which is a very major moving average, but we've actually lost it again on this monthly candle close. This monthly candle now is closed. We're on the BLX, so it's a bit delayed, but that is a closed monthly candle. That means what we've done is we've rejected from the red line, and we've lost the 21 EMA. That's not good. It's not like we haven't seen rejections before. We saw a rejection for going back to a similar part of the cycle back in 2015. We saw multiple rejections here in 2015. You can see we came up to that red line. We saw actually a bearish engulfing candle, right? And then we came up for another green one, rejected again, saw another red candle, and then finally broke it 5 months after the original retest. So it's not that we can't go back above it. It's not that it's like over now and we just have to give up or anything like that. We've seen similar scenarios to this before, but it's certainly not good. And even though that scenario was bearish, and we did see a bearish engulfing candle and went upwards anyway, it took a long period of time, months for us to actually gain the strength to go upwards again. Yes, we didn't correct much in the meantime, but still, and we didn't lose for 21 EMA that time either. So this scenario we're in right now is actually objectively worse than the one we were over here. on top of that, on top of the rejection and the loss of the 21 EMA, we've also formed a bearish evening star pattern candlestick formation, which is when you see a green candle, a doji candle, and then a red candle. That's called an evening star topping pattern. It's a reversal pattern. It generally indicates that you go downwards. Now, again, we've seen this before. We saw an evening star candlestick formation over here. I've just circled it, right? We saw green candle, doji candle, and a red candle, which indicated we should have gone downwards, okay? But we actually went upwards, and that's because the cyclical theory is stronger than any candlestick pattern you're going to be able to find. Unfortunately, though, in that scenario, we had the cyclical theory saying that we're going to go upwards. Right now, as I explained before, we don't have any cyclical backing at this point in the cycle. The cyclical theory is we're going to do basically whatever we want until the halving next year. So there's no real cyclical backing for Bitcoin to fall back on this time like there was during this candle over here in 2020 when we were meant to be going upwards. And that was fresh after COVID with massive amount of QE as well. So lots of money coming to the market in that occurrence. We don't have that right now. And so I actually don't think that Bitcoin looks good on the macro at all. And I think we're in a danger zone here. I think that we could be, in the worst case scenario, correcting downwards until we come down and retest this red line on the RSI, and that could be the bounce zone. Now, luckily for us, okay, even in that occurrence, even in that scenario, that's probably the best case. We get a bounce from there. Even in that occurrence, luckily for us, we do have a lot of support on the daily chart. We do have a lot of blue structures on the daily chart and the weekly chart. So yes, the monthly chart does look bad, but we do have a support zone in the RSI, and we do look pretty good still on the daily chart and the weekly chart. Obviously, the monthly chart's very important, but it's not everything, okay? And that's important to note as well. So it's not like it's over now and we have to give up and we have to sell everything. Even though we've seen that bearish monthly candle close, that's not really confirmation of anything yet, because we do still have so much to lose before we actually can flip bearish on the medium-term, short-term time frames. So, what I'll say is this, right? And this is something I've explained before. I'm not going to waste too much of your time. But we have a bullish descending wedge formation here. So yes, Bitcoin has been correcting downwards. As you can see, it's been topped out since April, mid-April, which is about a month and a half ago. We've been correcting downwards gradually. It's taken a long period of time to go downwards. It's been pretty slow, and we've entered a downwards trend. We've seen, lower highs and lower lows, and that forms what we've got here is a actual descending wedge formation. Now, I haven't drawn it correctly here, but essentially that's what it looks like, right? Minus those two lows there. Descending wedge formation. In a descending wedge formation, you can see a downwards trend, but also be bullish, because the descending wedge formation generally breaks to the upside. And this is what I want to display to you right now. We are in a downwards trend. That is correct. Yes, we are going downwards, but it's a bullish downwards trend. It's a pattern of continuation. It generally continues to the upside. And so since we are in a bullish pattern, and that bullish pattern has been forming since the start of March, which is almost 3 months ago, we do have to assume that Bitcoin will eventually break this pattern to the upside, or that at least that is the correct assumption to make. It might not actually happen. Obviously, TA is not certain, but that is what is likely as per what TA suggests. So, the daily chart doesn't look too bad. We've got the RSI structure to support that. If we break this pink line in the RSI, that will be an entry signal, and that will probably happen before we get the line break. It would foreshadow the line break. So there's a nice trade lining up here. On the daily chart, if we do break that wedge, that's a very clean scalp trade ready to go. If we get closer to doing that, I'll discuss that more. But I do want to also note that, yes, there is a chance, obviously, we break the wedge to the downside, and one of the things that could support that happening is the bearish monthly candle close. Of course, the bearish pressure from that could bring us to the downside, but it's not like there's nothing below us. It's not like if we fall through this ledge, we just drop downwards, right? There's actually a lot of stuff there. What is there? Well, first of all, we've got the bottom of the wedge. Second of all, we've got a horizontal green support box between 24.3K and 25.2K. Third of all, we've got this RSI uptrending pink line, which is very strong support that's been retested on 3 occasions over the last year. It's a year-long support line there on the daily chart. That's not going to break easily. Fourth of all, we have multiple things on the weekly chart, such as the weekly chart Gaussian channel center line, such as the 200-week SMA, such as the bull market support band. Okay, there's many, many things here. All right, that will stop us from falling, okay? We've also broken the Gaussian channel center line. We've broken into the Gaussian channel, okay? And that's very important, because if we're looking at the weekly chart, generally speaking, when we break into the Gaussian channel, right, we follow through with the move. We break in from the upside, we carry through to the downside. If we break in from the downside, we carry through to the upside. We do that over and over and over again. We move through the Gaussian channel. Once you enter it, you generally continue in the direction you entered it from. And we have actually entered from the bottom side, which means we should be continuing through to the upside in the Gaussian channel. So, let's not act like Bitcoin's in this massive danger zone now that we've lost the monthly chart, now that we've seen a bad monthly chart close. It's not reassuring by any means, and it's certainly not bullish, and it's certainly made Bitcoin look more bearish than it did yesterday, that's for sure. but there's still so much, right, that we have before we can start saying it's bearish. I'll clarify, I've said it before, I'll say it again. When do I think Bitcoin will look actually bearish, properly bearish? I think Bitcoin will look bearish if we drop below 24.2K. By that point, everything that we have will have been lost. We will have re-entered the old range, okay? And we will be ranging again and threatening new lows. If we lose 24.2K, 24.3K, Bitcoin no longer looks good on many time frames at all, right? Until then, we've still got massive amount of support, which means we've got massive amount of safety nets, and safety nets generally work. Not always, but they generally do. Okay, so yes, bearish monthly candle close is certainly not good, but total cryptocurrency market cap as well is in a bullish descending wedge formation with RSI backing. That's good. And, you know, we can start to foreshadow things, right? If this breaks the downside on the RSI, we can start to say, okay, Bitcoin's looking more bearish now. We've foreshadowed what's going to happen on Bitcoin, potentially start breaking downwards there as well. There's many things we can do to predict the drop before it occurs. And only one of those things out of like the 5 of them has occurred, and that's the monthly candle close. So yeah, I think, you know, gold's broken to the upside, which is good news for Bitcoin as well. It's broken that pink line. It's going to come up for a retest of the top of its long time frame triangle formation. The Bitcoin dominance chart is still in the bullish pennant formation in the short term, and that's good. If that bullish pennant formation remains and breaks to the upside, that's going to indicate more Bitcoin strength in relation to altcoins, and we'll continue most likely seeing Bitcoin rallying to the upside. Okay, and then we've also got this is a bad one actually. We've got the S&P 500 rejecting from the top of its ascending wedge formation, which is a bearish formation actually, but we are on support in the current short term, so that's not too bad. What do we have over the next month or so, over the next 2 weeks specifically, that could bring some volatility in the market and potentially threaten Bitcoin or bring Bitcoin back to life, right? What is going to cause the move out of the descending wedge, whether it be upside or downside? I think personally we could have something to do with FOMC, which is in 13 days. Okay, 13 days until FOMC. We'll discuss the actual results of FOMC more in the future, but basically we have 13 days until FOMC. That's going to bring some volatility, and in the same 2-day period, I think probably around the same day actually, maybe the day before, we have the inflation reading. We have the CPI data coming out. So FOMC and CPI data are coming out at the same time in around 13-14 days. Now this means during that period of time, in 2 weeks from now, we'll be seeing dramatic volatility, and also by the time we get there, okay, we're talking over here, the descending wedge will have been compressed even more than it is now, meaning the price range will be tighter, meaning the volatility will be more likely to send Bitcoin up or downwards. So I think the middle of this month, the middle of June, is probably when we're going to see some major directional shifts on Bitcoin, whether it be a directional shift to the upside or to the downside, a major break of the structure. Everyone should be watching what's going to happen around that period of time with FOMC and inflation. But overall, we're still looking at the same descending wedge. Yes, the monthly candle was bearish, but I would like to see what happens with it. You know, as I said before, I should say, we have an evening star formation over here. We continue to the upside. Can we defy the odds again? We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the circumstances were different. This time is more bearish, of course. But again, we'll have to wait and see what happens. And I think FOMC and inflation and CPI is going to really toss up the volatility and potentially send Bitcoin up or down, which should be interesting to see. You know, look, Bitcoin's in an interesting position. It's in no man's land. We've discussed this before. There's not really any real proper expectations from a cyclical perspective from now until the halving. So we've just kind of have to navigate the rough waters, the choppy, foggy waters by ourselves. And that's exactly what we'll do. So stay tuned with the channel and stay tuned with the updates. And maybe I'll be able to give you some guidance on the situation. So guys, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Before we end the video, I want to check out the Bitget exchange, but I also want to talk about quickly the VIP group. So VIP group on Telegram, we trade altcoins sub daily. We have 3-month, 6-month, and 1-year memberships available. If you're interested in making money on altcoins in the VIP group, you can do so. All the information for signing up and the payment details are in the link in the description below, the Telegram link in the description below. We also have the Bitget exchange, guys. 5 times lower fees than Binance, non-KYC, everything you want on an exchange, 15% trading fee discount, and bonus exclusive rewards for signing up using my referral link. This is the exchange you should be using for trading, you should be using for buying Bitcoin, etc. I highly recommend it, especially for the controversy going on for Binance right now. Go ahead and sign up using my referral link in the description below. And finally, guys, you can find the website link for the Crypto Academy courses in the description below. This course will teach you everything you need to know about analyzing markets, everything you need to know about trading, and it will teach you how to become a trader, which is why it's named the Become a Trader 10-unit course. You can read the course description on the website, you can read the unit outlines, and you can check out everything you need to know about the course on the website, and ultimately throw us an email at cryptoacademycourse@gmail.com for any extra information on the course, any questions you might have, and we'll also send you through a video walkthrough of what the course actually is to give you a fully informed opinion on whether you want to purchase it or not. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.